Gaffer, thanks for joining us again. How's the first week back then?
Good, very impressed with the standard. To be fair, the boys worked very hard during their 23 weeks of lockdown, as it were. Certainly not being with each other, and they were working individually, and they worked very hard, and we know they've worked hard because we've been able to step it up straight away as if we'd been back longer, sort of thing, so we could go almost straight into the football. And yeah, they're looking good. The new lads have fitted in very quickly. They've shown the other boys that are already here what they can do, so that's always good. So yeah, at the moment you always get a few little niggles, so we've got a couple of them, but I think by the time we start playing our first game against Hemel Hempstead on the 12th, first pre-season game, we should be okay, ready for a full game.
And you've always stressed the importance of talkifying your new signings. Has that already begun?
Yeah, it begins when I speak to them on the phone before they've even got here. Yeah, and it's just something that we do, I do, and I know it works because they can't be playing for themselves, they've got to be playing for everybody. The club, the supporters, their families, obviously themselves as well. But their thoughts have got to be around our philosophy, our mentality, and also our language, as we say. So they're picking up all the words that I use tactically, so that when they talk out on the pitch, they all have got the same language and they understand each other when they're talking about what type of ball they want, what type of run someone's got to make, what position they've got to take up, all those sort of things. So yeah, we're well on the way now to talkifying all of them.
That's been a very unique situation this pre-season. We already touched upon the fact on our interview earlier on in the week how it's been totally different to any other pre-season. Yeah. How have you been able to manage that? Because it must have been very taxing and very difficult having to replicate those same sessions multiple times each day.
Yeah, it has been taxing on the coaches. Me, Downsy, Toddy, obviously Kai, does all the prehab stuff, and then the warm-ups, the warm-downs, So yeah, it's been taxing, but to be fair, it's been interesting. And you may even think about doing it again when even you haven't got to do it, because it gets you closer to fewer people, and they can't hide when you're doing a long run and sit in the middle of the pack and and sort of like cheat a bit. Not that our boys cheat, of course. But when you've got 5, it can be more individually orientated. That's why we kept all the strikers together, and the midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers, so that we can straight away start talking to them about what we're looking for from strikers and putting sessions together, as well as their running, of course, that coincide with striker work, like forward play, and also the defenders on their defending play and the midfield, doing the midfield stuff. So it's been quite good actually, that we've had to make our sessions geared around a much smaller group, but they get a lot more attention now from the coach and vice versa, so it's good.
Now next week things will change a little bit, won't they? The training will go up a bit of a gear, won't it? How will things work next week?
Yeah, well we come into stage 2 next week, and that means we can basically do what you need to do. It can be whatever the numbers are. You can have 11v11s, you can have tackling, you can have challenges in the air, so you can have contact from next week. So I think the boys will be looking forward to that, and also we can have them all in at the same time. So, because some of them maybe haven't met yet somebody in the other groups, or Sue have been working. We've tried to sort of intermix it to make sure they do meet people, but it's not meeting as in this environment where we're all having lunch together, or we're all getting in early there in the dressing rooms to have a little bit of banter, that sort of stuff. And we can do that from next week, because obviously you've still got a social distance, off the field, and you still got to look after protocol, hands, sanitising stuff as well, and you still got to be vigilant, but on the pitch you can play and train as normal.
And if the social distancing challenges weren't enough for you, we've also had the good old English Riviera playing its own tricks over the last 48 hours, haven't we? How have you found that?
Well, that was been unbelievable. It seems to every time we start training, it starts raining. You know, it's like whatever time we start training, it starts raining. And I mean, yesterday was absolutely unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen that. And you know, Louis still paddling away his little car that he's got up the river, Torquay, dual carriageway. he got stuck in it, and we all see. I mean, there was water coming out of drains and, you know, fountains and all that sort of thing. And we trained through the whole of that yesterday, because, you know, the boys were there, and that's what you got to do. So it was another different experience, but the boys got through it well. And if you're positive in your head, you enjoy the session, and forget about how wet it was.
And as you've mentioned, September the 12th is the first proper pre-season game with Hemel Hempstead at Playmore. Must be particularly looking forward to getting the match day in front.
Yeah, really looking forward to. I mean, you always look forward to your team playing against another team in pre-season. You know, you want to see the competition. You want to see whether, you know, the boys that you've put together are showing what you've got in your head. You know they're all individually good players, but then you've got to make it gel, and you've got to give everybody the same amount of time as far as playing time is concerned at the moment, because you can't play your hand, you know, with 16, 17, 18 players. So yeah, I look forward to it, because you want to battle your team against another team, because all leading up to that next week there'll be competition, but within ourselves. It's nice to, you know, have a proper match at Playmore, that, you know, we can see what we had in our heads when we signed these players.
And finally, Gaffer, after all the numerous Zoom interviews that we've done over the last few weeks, is it good to be back in the real world?
It's great to be back, mate, absolutely. And I mean, even though we are working from 9 till, people say, oh shame, you know, 9 till 4, whatever it is, but it's something that we've been looking forward to, all of us, for a long time. So although it's tiring, it's just great to be back, you know. And now I can't wait for the pre-season games. I can't wait for the fixtures to come out, because that's always a big thing, and the cup draw, whenever that's going to be made. And then of course can't wait for the start of the season, and hopefully we'll be ready.
Brilliant. Thanks for joining us today, Gaffer.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.